Hello my beauties, welcome back to my channel. This is Fumi here again with another tutorial. In today's video we are going to be learning how to make this beautiful ruffle headband that I have on here right now. This headband is so pretty and this style is a different style from all the other types of styles that I've shared on here, and it's so easy, right? You don't have to do so much work and you will achieve something beautiful, something elegant for yourself, for your occasion, and you can use any type of fabric in making this particular headgear. So if you'd be interested in knowing all the steps required in making something beautiful like this for yourself, please be sure to watch the video to the end, subscribe, like, share, and all that good stuff. Alright guys, let's get straight into it. Alright guys, so these are the items that you're going to need. You're going to need a plastic headband, you need your tape rule, your tailor's chalk, and your fabric. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to be using this taffeta kind of fabric. It's in vogue now, you find it everywhere, and I like it. I like the texture, so I decided to go with this particular fabric. Feel free to use any fabric you have. You can use satin, you can use ASOOKE if that's what you're going for. Any fabric is going to pass for this, any strong fabric or stable fabric. Now you might not be able to use chiffon or fabrics in that family, but you need something stable. So yeah, what I'm doing now is I'm marking 3.5 inches on my fabric along the length, and what I want to do basically is to cut a long strip of fabric, and this particular strip of fabric is what is going to serve as a cover for my headband. So this is what I'm going to be using to wrap my headband, and what I'm doing now is just cutting that point that I marked on my fabric with my scissors, of course. And next up, I'm going to cut another piece of fabric that's going to serve as the headband proper, and you want to cut 10 inches of fabric. So fold your fabric into two. The length of this my fabric is 60 inches, so this is about 30 inches on fold, and then I'm just marking 10 inches on this particular strip of fabric. So I'm cutting that 10-inch width of fabric with my scissors, of course, and then what I'm going to do next is now start to work on each piece of fabric to just serve the purpose that they are meant to serve in this tutorial. Alright guys, so this is the 3.5-inch fabric that I cut earlier on. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to fold this fabric into two along the length, and then I'm going to sew on 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch. It all depends on you, but make sure you're not sewing more than 1/2 of an inch. So yeah, you're going to take that to your sewing machine, and then I already went ahead to sew and turn my fabric inside out, and this is what I have here. Next up, I went ahead to iron it, give it a good press with my steam iron, and then what I'm going to do now is I'm now going to wrap this long strip of fabric around my plastic headband. This headband is something that I used for a previous project that didn't really turn out well, so I don't want to waste the plastic headband, so I decided to just use it like that. So that's why you are seeing a pink plastic headband right now. So what I'm doing now is I'm just wrapping my headband around with that long strip of fabric, and you just want to keep going around and using your glue stick now, or your glue gun with your glue stick, of course, to just wrap the headband basically. So you apply some glue on the plastic headband and then place your fabric on it and keep rolling around till you've gone all around your plastic headband until there's nothing left to cover. Alright guys, so now that I'm at the end of my plastic headband, now that I've covered everywhere, I'm just going to tidy up the edge of my fabric, make sure that I glue down that point, make sure that my fabric stays put, and then I'm going to use a small piece of elastic to just cover up the unkept edges of the plastic headband. Make sure that everything looks very professional and just neat basically. So I'm just going to go ahead to cut two tiny strips of elastic. I'm using this 1-inch elastic to cover up that point, and this is what my headband looks like after I've gone ahead to wrap it. You see that even if you make mistakes with either one of your projects, you can still make good use of your plastic headband after wrapping. Just find use for them, you don't have to trash them. So what I'm doing now is I'm folding the 10-inch piece of fabric that I cut up earlier on, and along the length I'm going to mark about 6.5 inches, and along the width after folding I'm going to mark about 2 inches, and then I'm going to connect those two lines together, and you guys are going to see why I'm marking these dimensions. I'm going to repeat this step now on the other end of my strip of fabric. Mark 6.5 inches along the length of your fabric basically, and then along the width you're going to mark 2 inches and then connect the two lines together. Once you've successfully done that, mark the two lines on the two edges of the fabric, what you're going to do now is you're going to start sewing this strip of fabric along the points that you marked, and then you're now going to sew all through the length of the fabric as well. You're sewing on quarter of an inch or half an inch. Just join your fabric together. Make sure that you're not, leaving excessive seam allowance when sewing. So this is what my fabric looks like now. I sewed along that slanting line, and then I sewed on half an inch all through the edge of my fabric. What I'm doing now is I'm just cutting off straight pieces of thread and the excess fabric that I have going on along that slanting point. Next up, I'm going to use my screwdriver to just turn my fabric inside out, and all that entails is just using your screwdriver to push your fabric all the way till the right side comes out of the other side of your piped fabric basically. So next thing I'm going to do now is I'm now going to close up the edges of this turned piece of fabric. So I'm just going to fold it, tuck it inwards, and then try to take it to my sewing machine and then sew as close to the edge of that tucked edge as possible. So I'm sewing as close to the edge of this my tucked in part as possible, and once that is done, we're going to come back to our table to continue with this project. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking this piece, the two edges, I'm going to just run my machine very close to the edge of the two, and then we'll be back to work. And this is what it looks like now that I've already run my machine over it. So what you want to do now is create gathers. So you're gathering the edges of this piece of fabric that you already worked on, and the point where you're gathering is the point where you join it together. So you're leaving the smooth parts up, and then the points, the seam line, basically that's where you're joining to, you're gathering. Now I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. You don't want that line where you did a lot of seams and joined your fabric together. You don't want it to be at the top of your headband. So all you're doing is just taking small pieces of fabric and using your needle and thread to just create gathers. I've done this a lot on my channel, so I believe a lot of you guys already are familiar with this process. And if this is your first time of coming by my channel and you don't necessarily know what this whole process entails, please watch me as I go and then just replicate whatever I'm doing on your own piece of work. I would advise that you go ahead to check out my DIY playlist on my channel and then just familiarize yourself with most of all these steps when making simple pieces of accessories for yourself at home. Now that I'm done gathering my fabric, I'm just checking to see if it's would sit perfectly on my plastic headband that I've wrapped. And now that I saw that it was good, I went ahead to just secure my gathers by tying up that point. So next thing I want to do now is I'm just going to tack this ruffled up or gathered piece to the wrapped headband. That's all this this tutorial entails. So you're tacking using your needle and thread to do simple stitches and securing those stitches, making sure that you tie it up and make sure that you're not losing the authenticity of your stitches, basically, such that your headband is going to stay stable on your head. And you're just doing that all through the gathered edge of your ruffle headband. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to move really quickly through this part so I don't bore you guys with the procedure. And I got a question the last time on my channel. Someone was asking if I always pass my needle through my plastic headband. My needle cannot go through my plastic headband. What I usually do is I pass my needle through the fabric. So most times when you're watching on video, it looks like it's going through the plastic headband, but actually it's going through the two pieces of fabric that I'm trying to join together. This just, I don't know how to explain it, but if you're doing it on your own work table, I'm sure you would be able to get the hang of the procedure. So you're passing your needle through the two pieces of fabric that you're trying to join together, and you'll see that it's going to pass through easily. And yeah, guys, this is the end result of my ruffle headband. It looks absolutely beautiful and I can't wait to rock it. I was actually on my way out on the day that I made this headband, and I decided to just wear this headband, and I was feeling myself, guys. You can tell. I mean, I'm giving you guys major dance steps in today's video. I was just in a very good mood on the day that I filmed this video, so yeah, you can tell from my movements in this video. If you made it up to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching. It means a lot to me. If you're yet to subscribe, please consider subscribing to my channel. Also, give this video a big fat thumbs up if you learned something, and yeah, guys, feel free to share with your friends and family. And yeah, I can't wait to see you in my next tutorial. Love you guys so much. Mwah.